like who you were. You may have enemies there, but you need to go home.
Alex, you clearly underwent an unbelievable transformation. Tell us about that.
I worked with a choreographer, Wayne McGregor, on finding the more animalistic side of the character, and in terms of his posture and how it changes from when he's Lord Greystoke in the beginning and when he kind of reverts to Tarzan towards the end of the movie, and how that changes his physicality and when he moves through the jungle. And that stuff was so much fun.
Can do the impossible to save the woman he loves. My husband is no more than that.
Do you think that the image of the female heroine has evolved in big budget cinema?
Yeah, definitely. Half the ticket sales come from females, so you kind of need to provide female audiences with female characters that they can relate to, which is good for female actresses because then you've got more exciting roles to play.
I need you to scream for me.
Like a damsel.
So you play the main antagonist, Leon Rom, in the film. What is it that you enjoy most about playing this villain?
I like active parts, and antagonists have to be active in order to create the problem for the protagonist. So until the protagonist takes charge and reverses the dynamic, the antagonist is the driving force of a story. That's a great function to have in the telling of a story.
There have been countless cinema adaptations of the Tarzan and Jane story. How has our beloved Tarzan changed over the past century?
Well, a period of history that, existing the period of history that actually took place with King Leopold II of Belgium raping the Congo, the start of the destruction of the environment and the animals that inhabited it.
He's kind of like an eco-warrior. He's a modern man who's trying to save the world he loves, the environment he loves.
Whatever happens, do not interfere. Understand? Promise me. Please.
What do you think this film offers to an audience who is already familiar with the Tarzan and Jane story? What is unique about the legend of Tarzan?
The audience is familiar with the character and with the stories that have been told so far. It's set in a historical context that actually was one of the most gruesome chapters of colonialism. So Tarzan really becomes a political figure.
Lord Greystoke, let me explain the Africa situation.
Do you think that audiences will watch Tarzan as a fantasy escape, or do you think the historical weight will get through to viewers?
You know, we have to thank our director for subtly addressing some of the social issues that are, obviously quite relevant, today. And certainly addressing the issues of colonization back then and the mistreatment of our natural world. So subtly, David Yates addressed all those issues, and I take my hat off for him to use a fantasy story like this that have no foundation in reality, as an instrument to address some of those issues.
So what do you think is the most valuable sort of lesson or teaching in this Tarzan?
I don't think it tries to teach anything. It's still entertainment, it's still an adventure movie, and it should be. But it puts the adventure into a political context. The fact that it's historical is not that important, because if you look at the actual problem, it's very much a current problem. Exploitation and of environment and people is nothing that ceased to exist with the end of the colonies.
Margot, for all of our male viewers, how would you describe your perfect gentleman? And maybe it's a bit more like Alex, or maybe it's a bit more like Tarzan.
Oh, Alex Tarzan hybrid would be a wonderful
Okay.
dude. Yeah.
I noticed that Tarzan wasn't wearing his iconic loincloth.
Yes.
What happened to that? What was the thought process behind that?
We felt it kind of belonged to the old Tarzan rather than the new Tarzan. I used to tease Alex and say, Alex, this is probably going to be the slowest striptease in the history of cinema, because as the movie progresses, you're going to lose one item of clothing after another. It'll start with your shoes, and then your socks, and then your shirt. And he does wear the loincloth at the very end of the movie. We do a homage. It's more of a sarong, actually, than a loincloth.
It's a short skirt, yeah.
But he pulls it off. Were you disappointed when you discovered that you didn't have to wear a loincloth for this film?
I was quite relieved, to be honest with you. There's that little shot at the very end of the movie where I'm in a little sarong, mini sarong. I don't know if you call it a loincloth, but
Sarong.
we could call it sarong.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty manly and cool, doesn't
Mini
it?
sarong.
Mini sarong.
Yeah.
Yeah, action-packed movie, guys. Go see me in a sarong.
Well, it was an amazing film, and I wish you all the best with the success of it.
Thank you so much.